Well, announcing the death of an employee can be a very difficult task for any manager. A few things we recommend would be, first, you always talk to HR, and you want to be on the same page. And it's good to call the Employee Assistance Program to see what they have to offer. They can send handouts and flyers to give to the employees so they know about the service. The other thing you'll want to do is to make sure you know what the company's going to do to have condolences for the family. And you'll want to know when the funeral arrangements are so you can update the team as well. After you get that, then you'll want to meet with the team. You'll want to calmly tell them what happened. For example, let's say John has been very sick, and sorry to inform you that his wife called this morning and he passed away. You're going to want to let the news sink in for a little while because it's kind of hard to take in, so there might be some silence for a while, and that's okay. You'll get different reactions. Some people will have quiet disbelief, which is common. Some will be crying, so you always want to have Kleenex handy. And some might even be angry about what did or didn't happen. And you have to remember, too, that some of this will bring up memories from other previous losses, things like that for people, which they might, if you see someone crying, that might be bringing something else up for them. And then after that, you'll want to encourage them to talk to each other, and it's good to let them know that you're available as well. Now, if it is a sudden death, or if it is a death that happens on the work site, then that should be handled a little differently. We would recommend that you would have an on-site debriefing where a counselor comes in and will talk to the team. And I've done many of these, and it can be a real positive experience to have a group that feels really lost, and by the end they can feel relieved, they can feel heard, they kind of talk about how they're feeling, and it can really help them cope and help them feel more as a team that way, to hear each other how they're feeling. And so those are usually go really well. So although it can be pretty difficult to announce the death of an employee, if you have a plan and can handle it right, it can go pretty smoothly and not be as difficult as you think it is. Many times people feel lost on what to do with this news, and it is good to have them start thinking about what the team could do to kind of memorialize the person. Often you can, what we tell people is you could, have a designated person that talks to the family and see what they need. Maybe it's meals or things like that. And then when people start thinking along those lines, it can really help them to have a goal, where they were feeling lost, but now they're like, oh, now we have a plan. We can do this. I can help out, and I can, if they need driving somewhere, or the kids or whatever, and then you can see them have a plan, and it can be really helpful for them to move forward that way. Yeah, if you have employees who are taking it really hard, where they're either seem like they're just in shock, or they are crying to the point where they're not stopping and kind of getting hysterical, it would be good to kind of take them aside and talk to them, or have HR or someone talk to them. That is typically not the case that someone gets that, but if it does happen, what you could also do is have them call the EAP and talk to a professional over the phone about how they're feeling. A lot of times they might need to go home, so I would recommend that you would have call their emergency contact, someone like that could help them get home. But again, it's not too common. after you announce that there's a death of an employee, don't expect a lot of productivity. They're going to be hard to concentrate. They're going to want to talk about it. They try to remember, what was my last conversation with that person, and all this stuff goes through their mind. So you're going to want to take time to have downtime, and that's why it's good to encourage them to talk amongst each other for support. Because if you did the opposite, if you said you have to get back to work, then people are going to think the company doesn't care. They're going to, and there could be animosity there. So it's good to have the group talk to each other, and yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot of productivity that day. As a manager, you're going to be affected too. So it is good to talk to the Employee Assistance Program or HR. But I know the EAP will have handouts specially designed for managers, and it'll tell you kind of do's and don'ts, and how to be available, and what's, how much you can help and how much you shouldn't get too involved. So there's some real good handouts for managers on how to handle your own emotions too, because you'll be affected just like everybody else. And it is good for the employees to know that you're affected as well. I mean, you want to be calm, but to say that you're also saddened by this news can go a long way.